DJ Ula blah blah blah. DJ Ula blah blah blah. DJ Ula blah blah blah. All right, welcome back to another episode of Beer, Bacon, and Bros. Tonight we're doing week 4 of our college football pick'ems. If you've been along with us, you know each week we pick out 10 games. At the end of the season, there will be a punishment. I don't know that we've even decided on.
I thought we were going back to the one chip.
I have another one chip, but we need to. That thing's been aging.
There you go.
So,
some of us would die.
I would die again. I would refuse to do it. Y'all can kick me in the nuts all you want. So,
you heard it here. If he's got to do it again, we can kick him in the nuts.
That's fine. That's fine. We'll figure it out. As always, we're picking 10 games. Trying to do the most popular games / best lines. So we got a few.
Unlike last week.
Yeah, unlike last week where there was just nothing. So
yeah. Oh, this looks fun. Let's do this one.
Yeah, pretty much. So, as always, we're going to start down, and then we're going to do something a little new this week. We're going to rotate who picks first. So Adam will pick first on the Georgia Tech Wake Forest game, and then we'll move on down. Make sure you hit the subscribe button for us if you're not already a subscriber. We appreciate you. It's completely free to you. Helps us grow the channel. If you are already a subscriber, thanks for coming back and staying along with us through the college football season. Make sure you like the video so that it does become more popular for us. And as always, hit us in the comments. You know we will get back with you. So, Adam, you got the first one. We got Wake Forest, Georgia Tech. This is a 6:30 game on Saturday. Georgia Tech 1-2, Wake Forest 3-0. Wake's played absolutely nobody. Georgia Tech's losses are Louisville and Ole Miss at Ole Miss. Wake Forest is currently a 3.5-point favorite in Winston-Salem.
I'll take Wake Forest at home. I still think Georgia Tech is in that transition period of trying to get the white guys into their new offense. Mm. I think they're heading in the right direction. I just don't think they're there yet.
Yeah, I'm going to go Wake Forest as well. They did get, as much as we want to say played nobody, they did still play Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's not that much of a pushover. It's not like South Carolina State with Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
And Georgia Tech, even though they've been out of the triple option coaching scheme for a while, like Adam said, they're still struggling. They're still struggling of trying to get non-triple option guys in there. I don't think they've got it figured out yet. And I think just Wake Forest is going to continue to roll on. They're going to go 4-0, and they might squeeze into the top 25 maybe.
Maybe. Yeah. This is hard. I think this is a good game. Like I like Georgia Tech in a sense of they have played some of those tougher opponents. Louisville, everybody is jumping on the Louisville train right now. Obviously, Ole Miss. People are talking about Ole Miss being the best team in the West right now. And I think that I am going to take Georgia Tech. I like the way their offense is looking right now. 513 yards per game right now in offense. The defense is the bad part, right? 440 giving up on the defensive end. So I'll ride with it. I'll see what Georgia Tech can do this week.
I mean, Georgia Tech's averaging the same. They're giving up the same amount that Wake Forest is averaging scoring. So that's usually a bad combo. If your offense is matching the defense like that, so this one might be a shootout.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Demon Deacons. I'm gonna Wake on this one.
All right. So Alex, you will be first on this one. We got Florida State Clemson at Clemson right now. Florida State a 2.5-point favorite. There's a noon game in Clemson.
This one's tough. Florida State just struggled with Boston College. I mean, Boston College was like they were in control of that game for a significant amount of game time. They were in control of that. That very much, though, could be a curse of Florida State. Was already looking to Clemson, was just preparing for that. Just the whole. I mean, if Florida State fully prepared for Boston College, I think it would have been an absolute blowout. I truly believe that they were just like, it's Boston College, who cares, kind of thing.
Already looking at
Clemson is. I mean, the loss to Duke, FAU. They just, I feel like they struggled against Charleston Southern. Clemson hasn't proven anything. I think Dabo is handcuffing Garrett Riley, making Garrett Riley play the Clemson playbook instead of Garrett Riley's own playbook. But I think, this one's fucking tough. I hate being first on this one.
I'll take first.
No, I'm going to go Florida State.
I'll take first.
I'm going to go Florida State.
I know who I'm going with.
I think Florida State hands Clemson their second loss of the season for. I mean, how long has it been since they've lost 2 regulars? Like, they've gotten 2 losses in the regular season.
Yeah, it's. I mean, last year.
So last year,
Yeah, they went 7-5 last year. So,
There's just so much going on, but also I don't know if it was a curse across the nation because a lot of powerful teams in week 3 did not look good.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it too is, I think with Boston College always has a really good sneaky defense. They're always one of the tops in defense, and they were able to hold and play with the offensive power that Florida State has. I don't trust Cade Klubnik at all. And I actually trust the BC quarterback a hell of a lot more than I trust Cade Klubnik. So
Kate, are you purposely mispronouncing his last name?
Klubnik, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was
I don't know
going
what his name is. Klubnik, whatever. I don't
Cade,
care.
Cade's only had what? He had the one good game that everybody got down the
ACC
Cade train.
championship.
They got on the
ACC
Cade train.
championship, yeah.
I think this is going to be a bad one.
He struggled mightily against Duke. He struggled against. They look bad. Like you said, they look bad against Charleston Southern. They look bad against FAU.
We joked with one of our best friends that's the resident Clemson fan that the cruel irony would be that Ukulele is now on the West Coast having a career season.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
And
looking fantastic.
they're gonna have stuck with the young guy Cade and get burned. And
Yeah.
Well,
I think it's gonna be a close game, but I still think Florida State edges it out.
I will say this for Clemson fans. They have always played Florida State close, no matter whether it was Florida State's prime in the 90s,
Yeah.
early 2000s, whether it was Clemson's prime, through the mid 2010s here. This has always been a close game. I absolutely have to take Florida State here. You take Florida State too, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. Florida State's across these 3. But I do think that the reason Clemson loses a chance at getting Florida State this week is a noon game in Clemson. There's just not going to be that same environment as it would be a night game in Death Valley.
Mhm.
And when you have a noon ACC game like this,
Which
fans
I
are
think they
all
kind of
show
got
up.
burned on this. Not
They
Well, it's
absolutely-
not
they
even, at
absolutely
least
got
not even,
burned.
not even an afternoon game.
It's because they lost to Duke. If they didn't lose to Duke, this would be a 7 o'clock game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I will hammer.
Game day would have been there.
No,
No,
it'd
it's still
be
be Ohio
State.
State, Notre Dame. Yeah.
Yeah. But I would absolutely hammer the 2.5
Now,
for me on
if
this.
Clemson was still in the top 10, potentially yes.
No, I'm saying if Clemson was undefeated, this would probably
Yeah.
be where game day would be at because they love that Clemson environment.
Yeah. How about yourself down here?
They love watching them circle around the park.
You're getting ready to marry a Clemson fan. Might as well.
So I think like you pointed out, Clemson has played FSU tough over the last several years. It is tough to play in Clemson, but I don't trust the quarterback play in Clemson. I trust their veteran quarterback in Jordan Travis and just what FSU has currently. So I'm taking FSU to beat Clemson at home.
Game 3 this week, we got number 19 Colorado Buffaloes at number 10 Oregon Ducks. This is a 3:30 game on Saturday. This is the most bet, money line, and cover right now in the Vegas books this whole week. 21 is the favorite for Oregon. This started at like a 24 favorite. It's already moved down to 21. So a lot of people believe in Colorado even after that game with Colorado State. Travis Hunter, obviously, probably not available for this.
He's not playing.
Yeah,
No,
so
he's
he
out.
just got out of the hospital. So,
He's up for his next 3.
and then Shedeur Sanders, obviously looking like a Heisman Trophy candidate right now. He has moved quickly up the board into the top 7, I think, of the Heisman voting. So, this is tough, man. Like, Colorado was a 20-something point dog to TCU. This is a real test for them with Bo Nix and Oregon. The other thing I'd say about this is, I don't feel like Oregon really, they played Portland State, they were at Texas Tech, and then they had Hawaii at home. They really haven't played a whole lot of people. Now, people really like Texas Tech. They thought Texas Tech was going to be a great team this year. But, that was a close, tight game with Oregon, Texas Tech as well. So, I'll take Oregon just because I don't think Colorado has the run game still. Like, this is a team that's only averaging 61 yards on the ground through the first 3 games. Give me Oregon because I think their defense will be able to hold Colorado just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I'm going to go with Oregon as well. I own Colorado. I think Colorado's a surprising team. I think they can definitely keep this within the 21 points.
Yeah.
My only concern is the loss of Travis Hunter, not only on the offensive side of the ball, but his cover ability on the defensive side of the ball. So I think Oregon has the better edge at defense to be able to contain Colorado. Shedeur's still going to do Shedeur. He's going to be what he's been, but I think Oregon edges this one out.
I'm going Oregon here, and opposite of you, I own Oregon in the college football league.
Well, I'm not playing Colorado, so you're okay.
But Yeah, I think losing, in this case, your best weapon on both sides of the ball here. As good as Shedeur is playing, he's only doing as good as he is because he's throwing to somebody like Travis Hunter. And their defense is only looking as good as it is because of just
They're
how
going away from the
Travis-
strong side of the field.
yes, because of the way Travis Hunter plays. So I think losing that aspect on both sides of the ball is going to drastically hurt Colorado here. I don't think you're going to see Shedeur Sanders throw for 300 yards, 400 yards like he has been. I think this is going to be his first real test of a really good defense.
And
And
a tough place to play too.
correct.
At Oregon.
Yeah.
So I'm taking Oregon at home here.
What you looking for?
I just wanted to look at one thing real quick. Sandy J. This one is going to be a classic Big 12 meetup. They're both in the Pac-12. By that I mean if Texas Tech can drop 30 on Oregon, Shedeur Sanders is probably about to light up the Oregon defense, and I think Oregon is going to light up Colorado's defense. Travis Hunter is out, so I think that really truly puts next man up for them would have to be Shiloh, right?
on the defensive
Shiloh's
side of the
playing
ball.
safety. Yeah.
On the defensive side of the ball, he's the leader now. He's the
On the
prime
defense,
guy.
yeah. But he's also playing safety
So,
versus Sandy.
but that's a big difference though, because honestly, having Travis and Shiloh together on the field at the same time is a huge thing for the defense.
We get to lock down the entire side of the field.
Yeah. So I think both defenses are going to have a really bad day.
From the quarterback play on both sides here.
Oh yeah. I think both quarterbacks are about to have a field day.
Over
Yeah.
under 70.5, by the way.
That's what I'm saying. I think
that's mid 30s.
I think it's going to be a shootout. I would almost try to think. I think the over should be closer, maybe to 80. But at the end of the day, I do think Oregon will expose Colorado, and I would say expose. I think Colorado is legit. I think the hype's built too quickly.
Yeah.
They are great. 84 new players from last year. So that could help Colorado prepare with, there being less tape on how these guys fit the scheme and stuff like that. But I think Oregon squeaks away with it the last second.
Okay. We're going to start with UCLA and Utah next. We got number 22 UCLA, number 11 Utah. Both teams 3-0, 3:30 game in Utah. Currently, Salt Lake City, Utah. They have a 4.5 point favorite for Utah.
Is Cam back? Cam Rising back?
There's no word on Cam Rising.
So like, no word
Yeah.
Cam. So, but Utah's played. They looked good against Florida. They struggled a little bit against Baylor. Their defense looked good against Baylor.
Both defenses have actually looked pretty good, I think.
Yeah,
I would say UCLA.
I think these are the first two teams we've seen pop up that haven't averaged over 300 yards a game.
Yeah, this is
on defense.
This is a tough one. Without knowing if Cam Rising, the backup quarterback's not looked that bad. He hasn't played horrible, but he's been able to keep them in games and keep.
Yeah, he's the freshman, Nate Johnson.
Yeah, so he's completed less than 300 yards and one touchdown, but he hasn't turned the ball over, which helps out a lot.
Yeah.
Give me the Utes at home. I'm gonna go Utah at home.
I would say I hadn't watched much of UCLA this year, but owning Utah, I have watched them play a few games, and I like what they look like against Florida, even with a freshman quarterback. The defenses look good. I'm going to take Utah at home.
Yeah, I think I kind of just piggyback on what you guys have said. The Florida matchup, I think, is really the true tale of these two teams. I'm going to have to go to Utah on this one as well because that same Florida team also just did go out and beat Tennessee, so I think that's the real test.
Yeah. I'm actually going to take UCLA. I own them in the league.
Are you playing them this week?
I am probably going to play them this week, especially if Cam Rising doesn't play.
He's going to chicken out.
Probably.
I'm
But
probably playing Utah at home.
so listen, Utah's played the better teams. They played Florida, they played Baylor. I think Coastal was a sleepy first week game for UCLA. Like Alex said, I think they did a really good job of holding them to 13 points. I'm really intrigued with how UCLA's explosive offense, averaging 527 yards a game and a little over 30, or a little close to 40 points a game, is going to match up with this Utah defense, because Utah has played really, really well on defense with both Baylor and Florida. Neither team either, though, with their starting or with great quarterback play with Metz, and then Spears was out for Baylor. So I think this is an interesting matchup of like a really, really strong defense and a really, really explosive offense. Who's going to win that battle? So I'm going to take UCLA though, because I do plan on playing them this week. Adam, you start this one. This is Alabama and Ole Miss. Number 13 Alabama 2-1. Number 15 Ole Miss 3-0. This is in Alabama, Bryant-Denny Stadium. 3:30 CBS game of the week. Alabama currently a 6.5 point favorite.
It's really tough.
Yeah.
Really great games this week, by the way. If you haven't noticed.
Yeah. Tough matchup here for Ole Miss. Definitely a rowdy crowd to go in and play. Even at 3:30, if night game, I think I would take Bama hands down. But I just haven't been impressed with them this year. I'm gonna take the upset here and take Ole Miss beating Alabama.
When was the last time they lost 2 games in the regular season?
Probably about 2 or 3 years ago when they lost to LSU and they lost to A&M.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first A&M
That's
upset
right.
was they lost. Yeah.
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 That was 2019.
Yeah. What you think?
This one is extremely fucking tough.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, South Florida just
That
game just blows my mind.
I want Garrett to play Bama this week. I just want him to play Bama.
So,
The Alabama South Florida game just really is telling. Ole Miss. The thing about this is, I mean, once again, it's a Saban assistant he's going against. So we're going to see the first time ever he loses to multiple games in a season, but it also be multiple assistants
in the season.
in a season.
Yeah.
Granted, how many multiple games in a long time, but this one is super tough. I agree with Adam. The 3:30 I think does make it less hostile for Ole Miss. Alabama 6.5 though. But then on the other end, it is hard to root against Nick Saban or bet against
It's
Nick
hard
Saban,
to bet against
especially
him.
when he's coming off of a loss and then an embarrassing win. Like
yeah.
I feel like
we
practice
said
this
Texas
week.
too.
Practice this week probably had to have been the worst stretch of practice these kids have gone through. Fuck me. It really changes it. There's an actual there's a punishment on the line here. I'm gonna go with my heart and say Alabama. I gotta go with my heart.
I agree though. I think it's never wrong to bet with Nick Saban.
If you bet on Nick Saban every time,
Yeah,
I mean, you have a 90% winning percentage.
wow.
Yeah, guaranteed.
So take
But
it.
it's Lane Kiffin, all right. And that's the part that kills me.
It's the
This
Lane.
guy is going to come out with some
train.
wild shit.
Lane
There's a
train,
reason
baby.
they're putting over 500 yards of offense up right
Oh,
now. Like
yeah.
they're coming out and they're just, this is going to be a good one.
And then they returned their running back from last year. They had like 1,200.
They had the freshman running back from last year.
Yeah, Watkins is back. The other one is in the NFL. I can't remember what his name was. The TCU guy that transferred.
Yeah.
So,
And Alabama has gone back to their starter quarterback. They're not going with the second or third
Jalen
string
Brown,
that played
yeah.
against South Florida.
That's a lot of the question for me is like,
Milroe.
yeah,
Milroe.
is Milroe going to be the guy? Do they want to continue to try and get Ty Simpson some opportunities? Like, the problem is I look at Alabama and say they don't know who their best quarterback is. They aren't playing very good on offense. But the thing that scares me the most about this game is how well they actually have played on defense, except for a couple misses in the Texas game. Like, even then, as bad as the South Florida game was, they gave up 3 points, right? And they gave up 3 points off of a turnover. They would have given up 0 otherwise. So, Ole Miss, explosive offense. I think Lane has some things saved in the back pocket specifically for this game.
Oh, I bet
he
yeah.
wants to beat Nick eventually. And I think Jackson Dart is playing absolutely wonderful right now for Ole Miss. So I'm going to take the upset with Adam. I'm going to take Ole Miss on this one.
So, like Alex, it's so hard to bet against Nick Saban in these situations. But my issue is they have no identity quarterback. They don't know who the quarterback is. And because of that, and because of, like you said with Lane Kiffin is is the offensive guru. I mean, he knows everything. I think he draws up the plays and can beat them like Texas did, and have those long receptions. So, because of the lack of quarterback confidence, I'm going to go Ole Miss.
Good.
I'm either going to go further in the last or
Make
Making up a
Making up
game,
some
baby.
game, dude.
Making up a game. All right, this
That's
one's
so hard to do,
you,
though.
I think. Oregon State and Washington State. You got 3-0 Oregon State. We've already talked about DJ blah 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 blah.
Ukulele.
Yeah, and number 21 Washington State.
Stash, if you don't make that a GIF, I'm gonna be so mad. First of all,
Washington State number 21, also 3-0. This is a big night game out in Wazoo. So Oregon State currently a 3-point favorite on the road. By the way, Cameron Ward.
this
that-
is
that
crazy.
good for Washington State.
The thing I like about Washington State is the Colorado State win, plus the Wisconsin win. I mean, that was a huge. I think that was a pretty big upset for them to go and get Wisconsin and catch them off guard. I don't. But then Wisconsin could be weak because I don't like the way they played against Georgia Southern last week. I think Washington gets the upset at home.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. I think DJ's gonna be good. I just don't know if he's gonna be good enough. I think that environment's gonna make a big enough difference. Especially with Waz being as good as they are, they're gonna get a packed house. So
Yeah, it's gonna be lit in Pullman. I think I'm really looking forward to the quarterback matchup here. Cameron Ward is a really talented. By the way, Incarnate Ward was where he was at before he came to Washington State 2 years ago. So really talented quarterback. Almost 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns right now. Also running for 2 touchdowns.
he's also the rushing leader.
Yeah, DJ obviously has played better at Oregon State than he's probably ever played at Clemson. And so, it really is kind of a battle of these two quarterbacks. I think Oregon State has the better defense, in my opinion. And so that's why I will take it. I think this 3-point line is perfect. I think this is exactly what kind of tight game this is going to be.
Yeah, I agree. I think Oregon State does have the better defense over Wazoo.
Are you thinking Oregon State?
Yeah, sorry, I took Oregon State.
I think Oregon State does have the better defense. I don't like that this is at Wazoo because it is such a tough place to play. But it's hard to play in Corvallis too, so I mean it doesn't really matter where they play this game. But I'm gonna keep rolling with Ukulele over here, and I think Ukulele and Oregon State's gonna pull this one out in a close game.
I'm going Washington State. I like them getting it done.
I was about to freak out. I was being left by myself for 2 games.
I like them getting it done at home. I think Wazoo, y'all hit on it. Wazoo at night is going to be a tough place to play. Quarterback play, I think on both sides of the ball have been phenomenal this year. I think it's going to come down. I think this is going to come down to a turnover battle. Which defense can create one more possession for the offense. And I'm thinking in that environment at night, I think Wazoo's going to be able to do it. And, yeah.
All right. Rolling down, we got 4 more games left. This one, another ranked matchup. Number 24, Iowa, 3-0. Number 7, Penn State, 3-0. 7:30, whiteout game in Penn State.
And Happy Valley, baby.
It's going to be a electric environment, 106,000 at that stadium. So Penn State is currently a 15-point favorite on this game. I will take Penn State. I will say this. I don't know that Penn State has shown me a whole lot in the first part of the season to say they deserve to be a 15-point favorite. I mean, they have over West Virginia, Delaware, and Illinois. Not great teams by any means for any of those 3. Iowa, same thing. Utah State, Iowa State, and then obviously Western Michigan. But I think I can't say his last name. Cade McNamara, yeah. The transfer from Michigan has made a huge difference in Iowa not looking like a baseball team and actually being able to put up 20 points a game. So I think he gives them a shot to be in this game.
I agree. I think Iowa definitely has a better opportunity with an actual quarterback on their team now. It's not, they actually have somebody to go out there and sling the ball around a little bit. But it's so hard to beat Penn State at home in a whiteout with 106,000 people jumping and screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going Penn State at home. I want to cover the 15, but Penn State wins the game.
I think opposite. I'm going Penn State to win it, but I think they win handedly. Mm-hmm. I think this is their game. They're going to show out that they're going to make a case for hey, we should still be considered a top 3 team in the Big Ten.
Yeah, put me in the playoffs here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think they'll come out and do it against Iowa. I think, they've had 3 tune-up games. Again, like you said, not great opponents, not nobody that was really a struggle for them, and so they've been able to work out kinks over the last 3 weeks. And I think this is the week that we say, hey, we can put it all out there, and this could be the start about going forward. You'll see some of our best football.
Yeah, Iowa, I think, has got a little bit in the clubhouse that's causing some issues. The head coach is on the hot seat. He's got to average 25 points a game, and I think 6 or 7 wins is this threshold. So he's got to meet both those marks to get up for contract renewal and all that. They're currently only averaging that right now because they had a big blowout this past weekend. So I think those off-field issues might creep into it, but even if they don't, I'm with Adam. I think Penn State covers, and they cover big.
All right. I like it. All right, this is you first. Of course, you get to pick South Carolina first. So
Right.
we got 2-1 Mississippi State, 1-2 South Carolina. We're all Gamecocks fans. 7:30 game on Saturday night here in Williams-Brice. South Carolina currently a 6.5 point favorite, and take it away.
Yeah. So obviously, Carolina's had their struggles against North Carolina. They struggled the first part of the game against Furman, but I think last week that showing of Georgia proved that they're getting to where they need to be, not only on the offensive line part of the ball, but they started to get more pressure on the defensive side of the ball too. It got to the quarterback. I think Mississippi State's secondary is god awful. They just got trashed by LSU. Neighbors had 9 catches for 240 yards and 3 touchdowns. So and so I look for Leggett to have a big game in this one, and I'm taking South Carolina to win this one at home.
I think Keith hit it nail on the head there. Their secondary is been really is bad. Got exposed last week. The biggest issue though is giving either Rattler time to get the ball into big play situations or get it out quick and get it into your playmakers' hands. I think they looked better last week against Georgia than they had the other 2 weeks, but I'll take South Carolina at home. But I think it's closer than 6.
Okay.
Yeah, the South Carolina offensive line has gotten better, but it's not hard to go up from a steaming pile of shit.
The bars are on the ground.
When the bar's not on the ground, it was buried in the ground.
Buried in the shit.
Yeah, so it's taken us 3 weeks to get there, but we finally found ourselves a good left tackle. He won the offensive? I can't remember the award he got, but
SEC freshman.
SEC freshman offensive
yeah.
player of the week.
Yeah.
There's the reason I can't remember it. It's a fucking mouthful. But I don't think our defense is that good because just the pure fact of Clayton White just was unwilling to make adjustments against Georgia when Georgia was running the same 4 plays out of almost the exact same formation every time, and we just didn't seem like we could stop it. And that might be a little bit of just pure talent. So I do think the South Carolina offense though is going to shine bright because it is a night game in Willie D. Spencer Rattler's been here. He's done that. He's done it with a star receiver, which it's no longer Juice Wells. It is now Xavier Leggett, but Leggett's done it before with his last season. I think South Carolina wins and they cover. I think Spencer Rattler has a game that hopefully pushes him into the Heisman race that he's already being snubbed on because he truly has been a great quarterback, and he's starting to get a little bit of recognition finally on the national level. So I think this is his coming out game.
Yeah. I think this game goes one of 2 ways. I think Adam's right. It's a field goal game, or it's going to be like the Tennessee game last year. Like maybe
we run out of fireworks from scoring too much.
Yeah, and I really Zach Arnett has been I've always been a Zach Arnett fan. He runs a 3.35. He's been out of the SEC for a while. Obviously, Kane was the defensive coordinator here. Got promoted when the tragic death of the Pirate unfortunately happened last year. So I think he's a good coach. I'm very intrigued by how he basically completely turned Mississippi State 180 though. Like they're leading the SEC in rushing right now. Who would have ever thought that a Mike Leach designed team is leading a league in rushing? So I think that he's got to work through some of that. Get Will Rogers the ball in his hands. Let him gun it out a little bit more like he has in the past seasons. If he does that, it could be a close game. If he doesn't, I do think South Carolina has a really elite chance here in a nice home environment, sold-out crowd. Willie B's a dangerous place. I think the other thing that I look at with this is the schedule, right? South Carolina played North Carolina, played Furman, who most people don't know is the number 6 team in the FCS, and then, of course, went to Georgia and kept it in a 10-point game. So definitely a lot tougher.
Winning the game for
at the
halftime.
At halftime. So definitely a lot more competition than whoever the hell SELA is. Obviously, the overtime win over Arizona and then get blown out by LSU at home. So that's what I think makes the determining factor. I'll take South Carolina as well in a clean sweep. So Adam, you get this one. This one's the worst of the worst, but it's a nice midnight kickoff. Hawaii 1-3. New Mexico State 2-2. Hawaii is a 3-point favorite at home.
This is only on here because Chris has a hard on for Hawaii.
No, I went Hawaii this year though.
Also, that it's a close game and it's technically like a 12:07 kick, so we're kicking it on Sunday.
So I think both of these teams, if you put their records together this year, like preseason combined, I think they would combine to be a 6-6 team. Like their projected win totals. Like I think it's like one was 3 point something and one's like 2 point something, 3 point something. Either way, Hawaii's not projected a whole lot of wins. New Mexico State.
New Mexico State.
Yeah, also not projected a whole lot of wins. They were bottom 5, I think, in college football this year. But that being said, this is one of Hawaii's wins. I'm taking the Rainbow Warriors.
All right.
I'm gonna go Hawaii just because both these teams are they are bad in their sense when compared to the national scale. So I think the only really big advantage is that New Mexico is having to go to Hawaii, which
got an 8-hour plane ride.
Yes, that's a huge time difference. I'm gonna have to go to the Rainbow Warriors on this one. Really don't know anything else there to say on that.
New Mexico State picked up the win in the rivalry last week. We picked between New Mexico and New Mexico State. This is hard, but fuck it, give me Hawaii.
Let's go.
Alex is not wrong.
Reincarnated.
Alex is not wrong. I got a Colt Brennan jersey in the closet. I love Hawaii.
Let's go.
You want to ride with the Rainbow
I
Warriors?
didn't know think about the team, so let's just run with Hawaii.
Right.
They got to win a game at some point,
We're
right?
going 3 games in a row now where it's a clean sweep of predictions.
All right, well, we got a big one here to end it. So, College Game Day, it's in Notre Dame.
This is a tough one.
3-0 Ohio State, number 6 in the country. 4-0 Notre Dame, number 9 in the country. 7:30. It's going to be rocking in Notre Dame. Ohio State is a 3-point favorite on the road.
This is so hard.
This one is extremely tough because Notre Dame is playing good football right now.
Yeah, they're actually deserving of the ranking that they have right now.
But look at who they're playing though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Not strong opponents. They did get Navy in Dublin, which is a really unique environment. But it still is. It's a military academy team. They're not powerhouses whatsoever.
They went to NC State and played fairly well at NC State.
Well, they also had a 4-hour game delay at NC State because of the weather. So they, the crowd emptied out. Some came back, some didn't. So
that throws a kink in anybody's.
No, you're right. You're right.
There's no telling what that game would have been like if it truly just stayed on course.
You're right.
Ohio State.
They blew out Youngstown.
Youngstown
put up 35.
Youngstown State hung into that game for quite a while.
way too long.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
I was gonna say,
Way too long.
They actually didn't put Ohio State that bad.
Yeah, because I made a joke during the preseason of this before college football even started that Ohio State was going to lose to Youngstown State. So when that game was being that way, I was making it very well known that I called it. My thing though is like I said, it's hard to bet against Nick Saban. It's hard to bet on Notre Dame in the big games because they always get exposed at some point in time of not being the powerhouse they claim to be.
Unless it's Clemson.
I'm gonna have to go Ohio State on this one. I don't think Notre Dame is who they think they are.
It's hard because I think Alex brings up some really, really great points. I think the most impressive win on the schedule for me for Ohio State is the Western Kentucky game, a team that Ohio State had shown they could give up passing yards to other teams. Western Kentucky obviously has led the NCAA in passing the last
3 seasons.
Yeah, 2 or 3 seasons. So I thought that was going to be a little bit closer game than it was. It was close early. Ohio State, of course, blew out late. I think Notre Dame has shown the most balanced offense in college football right now. Sam Hartman has been the key to put Notre Dame into an elite category.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they've always been able to run the ball really well the last couple of years. So I don't know that the Notre Dame defense has been super challenged for sure. I don't look at any of these 4 games they played and said these are tough offenses. But I like the home advantage for Notre Dame in this. Give me the Irish.
This is a really tough game to pick. Like you said, Sam Hartman has really balanced that team very well. Coming in from Wake Forest, he's definitely come in and proven that he belongs in the upper echelon when it comes to some of these better programs. This is just such a tough game. I agree with Alex. Notre Dame always somehow finds a way to crumble when it comes to these big primetime games.
Yep, no doubt about it.
There's always there. I mean, it was proven in the national championship against Alabama when they only scored 1 time, and it was in the 4th quarter.
Yep.
When Alabama, so it's
They didn't score 80 against Clemson in the postseason that one year.
it was 30 to
Lost
nothing.
33 to nothing.
Yeah. I'm going to have to go Ryan Day and Ohio State on this. I think Ohio State pulls it off there at the end.
I would like to say I think Ohio State does pull it off, but I also think both teams get exposed because I don't think
Defensively or offense.
defensively. 'Cause I don't think Ohio State is the team they think they are.
They're
either.
not. As
I
good
just
as
think
they
they're
are.
truly.
No, I
I think
with
they
that.
are better than Notre Dame.
I agree with that statement that they're not what they think they are defensively.
Yeah.
I mean, offensively they can put up the points, but defensively they're definitely they haven't been tested yet.
So, just like I just brought up, both defenses are weaker than what they have been in the past. Sam Hartman is a Heisman contender for a reason. Marvin Harrison Jr. should be in the Heisman contention anyway.
Absolutely.
For such an explosive player right now at Ohio State. So I think the offenses for both parties are going to have a big day. But the history of Notre Dame falling just short in the big moment, give me Ohio State.
That's what I'm saying. Because the best way I could say it was comparing it to it's hard to get bet against Nick Saban. It's hard to bet on Notre Dame not crumbling because they've done it so many times. Where it's just even with different coaches, different players, it doesn't matter. It's almost like the programmatic curse of just
And the big moment
it is Notre Dame football.
But I do believe both offenses are going to have big days, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is 40 points on either side. Just big show out for both programs here.
Yeah, I understand it. I mean, I do think that personally the only reason I'm taking Notre Dame is I think Sam Hartman is better than any quarterback Notre Dame has had in those moments.
Absolutely,
Right.
I would agree with that.
Like, he's better than Everett Golson. He's better than whoever.
Ian Book.
Yeah, Ian Book. He's better than any of the Jimmy Clausen, any of the other ones that have
Brady
had
Quinn.
Brady Quinn. Yeah, he's better than any of those guys, and so I think that could be the moment that proves that he could actually
be the
take
turning
Notre Dame.
point.
Is he better than Montana though?
No,
Okay.
no. So.
Joe Montana?
Joe Montana. So, as always, thanks for staying along with us the whole ride. This is the Week 4 college football picks. Hit us in the comments. Let us know who you think's winning some of these games. And as always, we appreciate you. Like, comment, subscribe.